the V8 Utes. This is race 2 actually for the weekend. They've already had one race, and Gary Baxter is on fire. He won the race yesterday after taking pole. But in race 2, Barks, we switch it around. 16th to 1st, 1st to 16th.
Yeah, the reverse grid thing. I mean, it's obviously great entertaining. It puts on a good show for the fans, makes the Ute racing look spectacular. But as a driver, it's frustrating. You get out there, you do the hard work, you go from 1st back to 16th.
Couple of housekeeping issues. Ryle Harris was given a post-race drive-through time penalty for passing Jack Ellsgood under yellow flags yesterday. Leighton Cranbrook, the reigning champ in the Mother Energy Drink Falcon, cracked a diff housing, so he's starting from the back. Not the way to start the championship defence.
No, one of the problems around here at the Adelaide street circuit is the curbs you use, the violence that goes through the cars. Obviously, it comes back, and we've seen one car with a little problem there, which is Leighton's car. But it's the usual blokes at the front. Gary Baxter yesterday, Grant Johnson got second, Jack Ellsgood third. So the guys we've seen over the last few years really been at the front of this championship. They're back again.
In terms of the grid, Greg Willis on pole, Colin Dunn alongside Glenn McNally, last year's Rookie of the Year, starting from the second row of the grid, alongside Justin Van Twest, who finally has had a chance to have a run in testing in that new car. We'll be in car with Andrew Fisher in the Jesus Racing All About Life Falcon, which this year is being run by the Cedars team.
Now, what we can see, Aaron, is you've got to be very careful this time of the morning. That the track has got a lot of shadow all over it, and that the rain that we had this morning, there's still little bits of wet patches around the circuit.
Guys, keep an eye on Gary Baxter. I spoke to him yesterday, of course, the race winner starting from position 16. He said reverse grid races are his Achilles heel. He hates them. He said he's going to find a balance between making sure the guys in front know he wants to get through and not knocking himself or them into the wall.
So all of the cars, 31 in place for race 2. The Yokohama V8 Ute Series this year, powered by Dodo. Colin Dunn, very keen to get going early. Greg Willis on the left-hand side of the screen, and look for Grant Johnson, George Medicki, Jack Ellsgood to come charging through. But Ryle Harris used the exit curb of pit lane.
They were using everything there. You see Colin Dunn got a little bit nervous as the red light come on. The clutch slipped a little, and he started to move, but it looks like they're going to make it through turn 1. It's not a lot of room through here, and it's a very exciting part of the race, but the guys have done it well, got it clean.
Sorting themselves out. Greg Willis just starting to edge away. We were in car for a second there with Craig Dontis. The Thirsty Camel Falcon. He's another of the locals. And he's trying to cover the inside line because they're all trying to sneak on through. Look at him sideways in the background there.
Couple wide here now. This is where it gets a bit, there's cars going everywhere in the background. These guys haven't even had breakfast yet and they're into it. But coming down into turn 8, we all know that the circuit's been changed a little. It's very narrow, so it's the place you don't want to go too wide through here. They've changed the fencing a little bit, and the exit makes it a lot tougher.
Everyone to the inside. It's a car park down at turn 9. Steve Robinson's through on the inside. Justin Van Twest, a big loser out of that, just up in front there in the pink Falcon. Dodo in car. Jack Ellsgood.
Well, geez, these guys haven't let off at all, have they? I mean, they've had that break over Christmas, and they're straight back into it, rubbing panels, pushing and shoving. They're not taking any inches. They're giving everything that you can see. But Grant Johnson out in front, is it? Looking like he's doing a good job.
Have a look at this. Steve Hodges pushed off the road down at turn 14. We've only done one lap. Now, turn 1, of course, last year, a massive incident down there in the third and final race. Ryle Harris sneaking on through. He's got some speed, but he's got some battle marks there. But I sat in earlier on in the week in the driver's briefing. Warren Luff is the driving standards observer for the Ute Series, and there was a real warning for drivers for turn 1 and turn 8. And basically, they've come up with I guess, a gentleman's agreement in effect that the car in front, in terms of having its nose in front by the 150-metre board, has the right of way. I don't know about cutting the corner on the grass, though, at turn 9. I didn't hear that mentioned.
No, I mean, obviously you do. Turn 1 and turn 8, you got to be very, very careful. Whoa, we've got cars losing mirrors and touching walls. Bang, crash, there's another turnaround. Look at that.
Peter Burnett going around at turn 9. Oh, someone straight into the fence at turn 8.
Yeah, as I was saying before, there's not a lot of room now. They've changed the angle of that fence, and by the looks of it, looked like there was a car in the fence there. So there's not a lot of room. You can see the cars moving around as they go through turn 8. A lot of speed on board there, and
it's Grant Johnson.
I'm going to say it's Grant Johnson, yeah.
I thought it was, but I didn't want to make the call. The winner here at Clipsal in 06 and 08 has found the turn 8 wall, and his teammate Greg Willis is getting monster because Ryle Harris has taken the lead and gone.
Well, that will certainly bring out the safety car, that incident there. So it's unfortunate for Grant that he's had that situation, but a lot of damage can happen going through turn 8.
Kim Jane slips through to second place, the runner-up in last year's championship. It's had a weird sort of a weekend. A car that had an electrical fault earlier on, they've got rid of it. He started 10th, he's up to 2nd.
Look at this, Aaron. They're pushing and shoving down the inside. These guys are on for young and old, aren't they?
Now this is the replay. Turn 8, Yokohama replay. Grant Johnson, look at the wall. He has hit that hard, and that car crashed at Bathurst recently in the 12-hour.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
And at Bathurst, it was the right side.
I'll tell you what happened there. What he's done there is he's absolutely just clipped the inside curb, which has caused... And there's another car off in the background as well.
I reckon that was Leighton Cranbrook, and the bonnet looked like it was popped up on the Falcon. Yellow flag's out.
But that's a safety car, so it's clear that there's obviously some damage out there. You can see Grant's car at the fence. There's another one off the... there's no room for error at this circuit. It doesn't take much. Grant's just hit the inside curb. He's got that right-hand barrier, and it's fired him straight to that outside fence.
So plenty of drama in race 2 in the V8 Utes under safety car, the Nissan GTR safety car leading the way. Ryle Harris is the race leader. Kim Jane sits in 2nd, but the 2007 V8 Ute champ, Grant Johnson, is in the fence. Back in Adelaide, and have a look at this. There's contact going on everywhere, and involved in it is Leighton Cranbrook. The reigning champ is out of race 2 in the Yokohama V8 Ute Series, powered by Dodo. It's a restart this time, and Ryle Harris is the man who leads the way. Kim Jane is in 2nd. Cole Dunn is 3rd. Greg Willis, Glenn McNally, Steve Robinson, and one of the hometown heroes, Charlie Kovacs, lined up. Gary Baxter, he doesn't like reverse grids and coming from the back of the field. He's up to 8th. He hasn't done too badly.
No, he's done a great job. I mean, obviously to get through some of that carnage, keep the car nice and clean. You can see Jack Ellsgood's car there with a bit of damage on it. So the boys are pushing and shoving with only a couple of laps to go. So it's going to be on for young and old here.
So this is now a 2-lap dash. Greg Willis sideways on the exit of the centre chicane. He'll lose some spots here because Robinson's through, Kovacs is through, and they're all starting to line up. Oh, Ellsgood's there, George Mediki, the Lupramax Falcon.
It's a good save there by Willis before. I mean, that slight tap in the rear, it could have gone very ugly, but he managed to hang on to it. With a bit of this close action all the way through the pack, not just at the front.
Ryle Harris out front is driving away. He was trying to put together a deal for the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. And he's showing why. He is really quick in a ute. Everyone's showing great respect at turn 8. Mediki down the inside of Jack Ellsgood. Greg Willis being pushed around the turn. Andrew Fisher's already lost the bumper off this car.
Jack Hill was trying a bit of a switch back there. There was a car there as well, so that's the good thing about ute racing. You've got the guys coming from left, right, and centre, up the back, up the front, and they certainly push, particularly this reverse grid stuff.
Oh, Jack Ellsgood. Mediki fights back at 14.
It's a long way around the outside there for Jack, but it was going to be a bit of a hard one to pull that off. But he's managed to tuck back in behind Mediki again now, and don't forget these guys are actually fighting like it's for the lead of the race for probably what's 6th and 7th place.
Last lap, Kim Jane actually took a 1/10 of a second away that time around. And Andrew Fisher does actually have the front still on that car. It's painted black though. Not used to seeing black on the Jesus car. But how about Kurt Wimmer? He started 27th. He's up to the top 10.
He's done a great job, hasn't he? I mean, he's obviously played his strategy pretty clever and stayed out of the action and been able to pick up a number of places.
Can you tell that these guys haven't raced for 3 months?
You can just get that feeling, don't you? You can just, at the start of the race, you can see him sitting on the grid, on the rev limiter, and you can just tell that these blokes are keen to get onto it. And what a great way to start the year at Adelaide.
Now, Kim Jane has pretty much one, maybe 2 chances left. He needs to get a good run from turn 8 and look for the inside at turn 9.
It's so difficult through turn 8 when you're right in behind someone to pick the apex.
Here he comes. He's in the gap. It's close. There's contact.
Oh.
He gives Harris a hip and shoulder, but Ryle's got the inside for the next one.
He wasn't quite there, was he? He's tried quite hard, but Harris gave enough room to be able to make it possible for him to get through.
Not over yet. Turn 14 still to come.
Well, I mean, if he covers this one, he should be fine from here.
He won't leave the door open as wide as he did at 9. Kim's a bit too far back.
Oh.
He's in deep at turn 14. He's going to try really hard. But Ryle Harris, he got a penalty from the first race. He's bouncing back in form. He takes race 2 in Adelaide. Kim Jane second. The fight for third. Glenn McNally trying to steal it on the line, and he just misses out. Cole Dunn makes it home for third. McNally fourth. I think we squeezed more action into about 5 laps of racing there than we did into half a round last year.
Well, what a great result for Ryle Harris. Come off 7th on the grid. Kim Jane was off 10th on the grid, so what a great result.
Let's have a look at the results in race 2. Steve Robinson in 5th from Charlie Kovacs. Gary Baxter played it smart, picked his way through to 7th. Jack Elsgood and Andrew Fisher rounded out the top 10.